Next on Worcester News tonight, could Worcester see a heat wave? Today's hot temperatures making it difficult for people working outside. Plus, another major announcement at the Worcester Regional Airport. Delta is the next airline to jump on board. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. Extreme heat in central Massachusetts Tuesday. The National Weather Service put out a heat advisory in effect for Worcester and surrounding areas until Wednesday night. Temperatures are climbing into the upper 80s and low 90s, and for some, the humidity is making things even hotter. Our Cam Jandro joins us now with more. Cam?
Olivia, it is still hot and very humid outside. The thermometer is still reading close to 100 degrees. Now, that heat advisory goes all the way until 9 p.m. Wednesday night. Earlier today, I went outside and talked to a few people braving the heat.
Kyle White installs and delivers medical equipment in homes throughout central Massachusetts. A labor-intensive job, and the heat isn't making it any easier.
The ones where it really sucks is kind of like three-story houses or like apartment buildings. A lot of the stuff in Worcester, you know, it's a lot of closed things, not a lot of places to park.
Temperatures soared into the upper 80s in Worcester Tuesday afternoon. Add in the humidity and it felt even warmer. White spent the day lugging around oxygen tanks and hospital beds. One of his main obstacles on a day like today is actually the air conditioning in someone's house.
It actually can kind of like stun you going in and out, going from one heat extreme to the other heat extreme, or cool extreme, I should say.
Meanwhile, the weather left these two guys on Lake Ave looking for relief.
You can't keep cool on a day like this, man. We're going to jump over that bridge right now. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go swim right now.
Others were taking the late summer warm-up in stride.
I like it when it's colder, honestly. It's nicer, but like it's good to get a nice tan, a nice workout in the heat.
Yeah, no, having this is nice. I like when it's warm, yeah.
Wednesday is forecasted to be one of the hottest days of 2018. White says it's important he stays prepared.
And you just kind of got to deal with it. You got to drink a lot of water. I'll take breaks going inside the office where, you know, it's actually AC'd and everything.
Now, the city of Worcester released a list of tips in order to stay safe in these kind of conditions. They say it's important to stay hydrated and stay inside with air conditioning whenever possible. For a full list of those tips, you can go to the city's website. Olivia?
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Cam. State health officials in Massachusetts have raised the threat level from West Nile from moderate to high in 11 communities in the greater Boston area. This comes after a woman in her 50s was diagnosed with the illness. It's the fourth human case in Massachusetts this year. At least 2 of the 4 infected people were exposed to the virus in the greater Boston area. Meanwhile, the threat level in Worcester remains at moderate. Worcester Regional Airport adding a 3rd major airline and a new destination. 1 year from now, Delta Airlines will offer round-trip flights to Detroit. City leaders say Tuesday's announcement is just another sign of the direction Worcester is moving. Our Chandler Walsh joins us now with the details. Chandler?
Olivia, the announcement comes after new JetBlue flights to JFK and American Airlines flights to Philadelphia coming in October. Massport says the service to Detroit can bring Worcester travelers further west. Motown music and applause. Massport celebrates a new connection to Detroit. Daily Delta flights are coming to Worcester Regional Airport next August.
I just can't believe how wonderful this continuing news is. It hasn't slowed down. It just seems to be happening at a faster rate.
This is the airport's 3rd destination announcement in the last year and a half. The Detroit flights will connect business and leisure travelers to 134 destinations.
Now to connect to Detroit, that takes them to markets in Asia, to Canada, and to other places further west in our country.
It also means another major airline is setting up a ticket counter in Worcester. Congressman Jim McGovern has advocated for the airport's growth and recalls a time people had given up hope.
A lot of people who said, let's turn it into a casino, let's turn it into housing development, let's demolish it. And I'm glad those naysayers didn't prevail.
Massport has invested more than $100 million into the airport in the past 10 years with the Cat 3 landing system and infrastructure and runway improvements. Chairman Lou Evangelitis says it's bringing more momentum and opportunities like the Delta flights.
We've had studies that show over $369 million in economic activity will come out of this airport in the next 10 years.
As for the future, Airport Director Andy Davis says he has a vision for Worcester Regional Airport to become a reliever for Logan Airport. Davis says the airport sees more than 100,000 travelers each year, but can accommodate more than 300,000.
The demand grows at all the airports, and aviation travel is growing both on the commercial side and general aviation side. So we've got room to grow here.
Again, daily Delta flights to Detroit begin August 2019. Prices and flight times have not been announced. Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
And the announcement in Worcester is one of the last official duties of Massport CEO Thomas Glynn. He announced this month he would be stepping down after 6 years with Massport. He says highlights of his time include the international flight growth, the Worcester Airport Initiative, the Working Port of Boston Revitalization, and the Omni Hotel Diversity Initiative. He says all projects were risky but successful. Glynn says he's looking forward to his next adventure.
I've been looking at some teaching opportunities. I was teaching right before I took the Massport job, so I might return to that, which I had a lot of fun doing that, but when the governor asked me to take on Massport, I figured that was kind of an important thing to do.
And Glynn will turn things over to Worcester's own John Prankavicius, who will serve as acting CEO in November. Some Worcester Public High School students could be going to college with a full ride. The Great Minds Scholar Program at WPI will help close the financial gap for any Pell-eligible students who may not be able to afford college even after receiving other aid and scholarships. The grant will be awarded to up to 10 students and also provide a housing stipend to encourage students to live on campus.
It's also a comprehensive program of support to the students and to the families. Many of these students will inevitably be first generation, so they will be trailblazers and may appreciate opportunities to have faculty mentors and upper class students advise them through their 4 years.
And WPI plans to expand the program to other areas across the country with an ultimate goal of providing scholarships for up to 50 students each year. Today was the first day of school for students in the Wachusett Regional School District, but administrators and first responders have been working all summer coming up with ways to keep students safe. With recent school shootings, the school superintendent says student safety is his top priority. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us now with more on what the district is doing to protect its students. Brittany?
Olivia, the 13 schools within the Wachusett Regional District are about to get an added safety measure. Each classroom will be equipped with a Go bucket, which will be filled with safety supplies in case of an emergency. These 5-gallon buckets can help keep students safe during an emergency.
Hopefully it never happens, but if it did, do we have some resources that a teacher can have to help people?
The Go buckets will be equipped with items like water, first aid kits, and trauma dressings. They could be put to use during a school lockdown. Each classroom in the Wachusett Regional District's 13 schools will get one.
Just the off chance that we might have to lock students up in a classroom for a certain extended amount of time. And again, we want to make sure that they have the necessary items.
Holden Police Chief David Armstrong says teachers can customize the buckets to meet their students' health needs.
We're going to give them basic supplies in it, but they can custom make those things. We can tailor make the buckets. Is there a student in there with a certain medical problem or some kind of issue that we can put something in the bucket for that?
The 800 buckets will be filled through donations and fundraisers in the next few weeks. Superintendent Dr. Daryl McCall says promoting school safety is important following recent school shootings.
As it becomes a little more, widespread, and as we start to see more violent incidents occur in our schools, we just have to be prepared.
Unfortunately, it's grown in a need as far as, do we need to put medical supplies in there? Trauma dressings, bandages, tourniquets.
Holden police are helping fill 450 buckets. Armstrong says it will be a lot of work, but worth it.
Had a chance to go to a national academy, and everybody talking from around the country thinks it's a marvelous idea. They go, why haven't we done this before?
Armstrong says the Home Depot Foundation provided the buckets at virtually no cost. Now he hopes the community will step up and help make some donations. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Senate candidate John Kingston out on the campaign trail Tuesday, reminding people to get out and vote in the state's primary next week. The Republican businessman founded the group Better for America. It aimed to support a third-party presidential candidate against President Trump in the 2016 election. Kingston says if elected, one of the first issues he would tackle is term limits. He says some politicians stay in office for too long.
Not necessarily Democratic solutions, not necessarily Republican solutions, but American solutions to all of our problems. And when you reform Washington, it's going to be better for the people of Massachusetts, better for the people of Worcester County, and just better for the entire country.
And Kingston is running against Republicans Jeff Deal and Beth Lindstrom in Tuesday's primary election.